Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. We're exploring the block a day book a little bit more today, and we're going to make a 9-patch square block. So if you want to see how to make a block like this, please stay tuned. I've decided on a new 9-patch block to try. And the block that I'm going to try right now is the 9-patch square. Super simple. I'm excited about it because I can use my 5-inch squares that are already pre-cut and my 2.5-inch squares. The reason it works perfectly for my 5-inch squares is because this is what my current stash looks like. I have a giant pile of color and a very small pile of light. And so hopefully I can use up some of my color when I create this block. I'm also going to try it in the 2.5-inch squares as well, but let's start with the 5-inch squares. Again, this is from the Block a Day book by Lucinda Ganderton, just another bit of inspiration. For the 9-patch, I think it's a great variation. I decided to go with pinks this time. Let me see, yeah, you can see that whole thing. And we're just going to chain piece this block right quick and see how it comes together. I'm trying to zoom you out just a little bit. There we go. All right, so we start by going right over left, and I think I'm going to chain piece this whole thing. I don't know if I like it as much with this block because they're so because the 5-inch squares are so much bigger. With the 2.5-inch squares, it's a little bit easier, but I'm going to try and just chain piece the whole thing. Or what do I call it? Web it. I'm going to try to web it and see. For my current leader ender, I'm doing my other 9 patches that were up on my design wall. So I'm going to pull this one off and put it to the side while I do the rest of my webbing. But here is the first round. We're just going right over left. And I'm going to press this or finger press it so that the seams nest. And basically that just means going away from this center block since it is the light block. So it's not so bad. But here we go. And this block is not difficult to put together at all. So it is a no stress block. And I should have pulled my Jacob's ladder to do as the leader ender, but this is kind of a spur of the moment project. Round 1 is done. I'm going to press the top row into the center. The middle row away from the center because of the white square here in the center. And then the bottom row goes in. And then we'll do the same process, adding these last 3 squares. I have the row stitched together. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew these rows. And right now they're still webbed. So I'm going to take the top 2 rows, just making sure that the seams are nested here. Wait a minute, that doesn't look right. Yes, it does. Okay. Making sure that the seams are nested here. this is my completed 9-patch square block in the pink, and these are the 5-inch squares. I have one little funky part right here, and I'm not sure what caused it, but there's a little pucker right there. No stress, because these are going to be Quilt As You Go blocks. Actually, no, they're not. I don't know what kind of project I'm going to do for this one yet, but I don't stress about stuff like that. So I'll give it a nice press in a little bit, and then we'll get to see it on the design wall. I have decided to try it in 2.5-inch squares, and these are my neutral squares on the outside and a color square on the inside. So I'm going to put this one together. I'm also putting one together up here, which is color on the outside and a neutral on the inside. So I'll put this together, and then I'll come back and show you all 3 blocks. I have the 9-patch square block completed. This is the 5-inch square one. I did give it a nice little press. Did I give it a press? It doesn't really look pressed, but I did press it. Okay, and like I said, there's one little iffy part right here, not worth the stress of trying to take it apart. This one is a scrappy block, so it's not that important to me. Also, I haven't decided what project to put it in yet, so I'm not super concerned. I ended up making 2 squares with the 2.5-inch squares. This one has blue all around and a neutral in the middle. And then this one is neutral on the outside with orange in the middle. And I love the idea of these cute little blocks. They are so fun to make. And the thought of putting them together, even though it would be a lot of seams, I think this would be so cute to put them together. And even more than that, this kind of reminds me of my jewelry box quilt, which is a design that I turned on point. So I'll put a picture of that quilt here. But like the way that I'm thinking about it is having these blocks make little diamonds would just be adorable. And then so it would be like all dark diamonds going this way, dark outer diamonds, and all light going the other way. But as I thought about it, it doesn't even have to be dark and light. It could just be a matter of contrast, or I should say it doesn't have to be dark and neutral. So it could be, for example, light pinks and a dark green in the center, or yellow on the outside and black in the center, something like that to create some contrast. And the reason that I say that, let me grab my 2.5-inch scrap box, is because I think you could use whatever colors you have. Right now, my current neutral stash is only this many blocks or this many squares. So that's not a lot. And then I don't have a lot of yellow. So just using whatever I had to create these blocks, if I wanted to, it could be a really fun project and use up a ton of these squares, and I think make a really cute quilt. But it would take a lot of blocks. I do have a way, when I made my jewelry box quilt, there is a way to turn the blocks on point without worrying about the setting triangles, and I think that would be perfect for this pattern. So, what's cool is you can use any size squares. So I have 2.5-inch squares. That's what I used. I have a 5-inch square. And even this, with it turned on point, would make these giant scrappy diamonds. And I might be here for it. It's pretty cute. Let me know in the comments what you think. I love this block, and I'm enjoying my block a day book. Just pulling a sort of random pattern out each week, I think is pretty fun. And I'm going to have a ton of blocks that I can use to make some quilt one day. And I look forward to exploring that as well. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, leave them in the comments below. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.